Hi, my name is Lynnette Abad, and you are watching an episode of Property Finder Talks, where I speak to leaders in the real estate industry here in the UAE. Today, I'm joined with Angela Gegg, who is the Commercial Director for Provident Real Estate. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Lynnette.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on board today.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
So, Angela, let's talk a little bit about yourself first,
Sure.
your background, and why did you get into commercial real estate here in Dubai?
That's an interesting one. So my background initially was, I did a lot of public work. I was involved in the media back home. And when I moved to Dubai, I started to actually write for Provident. I was their content writer in real estate, which actually got me heavily involved in wanting to work in this market. And then from there, I was just out, kind of searching and seeing what I wanted to do and what category of real estate I would fall into. And my mentor at the time, he's the one who really advised me about the commercial market, about the different, the rank of it, how the work that goes into it. My energy levels would be complete. I would be satisfied. It would be more than just the regular real estate market. There's a little bit more to it. And I really fell in love with it from then, and that's all I've done. And it's been a good almost 7 years since.
Wow. So yeah, the reason why I wanted to talk about commercial real estate in this episode is because we're always talking about residential, whether it's in the news or the press and what's happening with the projects, with developers. No one really talks or touches upon commercial real estate. And there's a lot happening in commercial over the last few years. And the fact that you just decided to jump straight into commercial without going maybe a stepping stone resi and then commercial is actually quite interesting. So I want to get into that. So can you just in general terms, let's talk about what is commercial real estate?
Sure, I can absolutely do that. But with the point you made, everybody asked me, how could you just do commercial and never have done residential?
Yeah.
So that is a point that I get asked that a lot. But it's all I know and it's all I love. So, I mean, obviously here at Provident, we're a very big off-plan company, so a lot of the agents focus on that, but I stick to my commercial. What people don't realize about the commercial market, it's not just offices and retail. The market is actually inclusive of anything that's not relative to, let's say, a family, an apartment, a home as such. You have retail units, you have office buildings, you have vacant plots of land for development, you have mixed-use developments with retail plus apartments. That all falls under commercial, industrial, warehousing. We have labor accommodation. It's very broad, and there's so much that we can do. So it's a very exciting field to be in. Plus, in Dubai, there's the issue of licensing, zoning, the rules, the regulations. We have to constantly be learning and constantly stay on top of our game in the market.
Yeah, I definitely want to touch on a little bit about that later. But a quick question. I heard a stat a few months ago that right now under construction is about 50% of the total retail that we have existing today.
Right.
So how do you see that playing over the next few years? How do you see absorption of that retail space? And where is this space coming up?
Well, we've got a lot of mega malls coming up.
Yeah.
And mind you, also warehousing is classified under retail in a lot of cases because of e-commerce. So the data might not be exactly for retail from shops per se, but it could be a mix of community centers, malls, warehousing, again, for that e-commerce sector. So there's just so much to it. And while it's under construction, it's mainly the mega malls that I would say are under construction. And we have quite a few coming up. And we have just in every zone, in every area, we're just constantly building.
Is the demand there though for all those mega malls?
We're expecting it to be, and we're building in anticipation, I would say, of the expo and the post-expo, because the statistics that have been shown, public, from the reports, are 15 to 30% retailers will be stepping in post-expo to remain here. Just as the residential market is talking about maybe 1% of the people coming in will remain, we also need F&B, we need retail, we need that to continue. So touch wood, it'll just get better.
Of course, yeah. Everyone's talking the Expo 2020 and what's going to happen before, during, and even after. So.
Right. So I'm from a country called Belize. It's a very small country in the Caribbean, and I've been here for, I would say, 7.5, almost 8 years, and not one person from home has ever messaged me about Dubai until recently. Everyone is excited to come to Expo, and I'm from a very small country, and people have been messaging me, I want to be there for Expo. Expo sounds so exciting. We're getting a lot of publicity on the world map.
Yes.
So while we're here and we're in the middle of it, in the western regions and everywhere else in the world, it's getting tons of publicity. So it's very exciting.
I don't think everyone here in Dubai really understands what's going to happen over the next year, year and a half.
No.
Yeah, everything's just going to explode
Right.
across all sectors.
That's correct.
So let's talk a little bit about warehousing. So e-commerce has disrupted the warehouse industry here in Dubai over the last few years. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, some of the big boys, as you know, have moved in. Amazon has bought Souk over, and so they're just expanding nonstop. E-commerce in itself, just for shopping, you have clothing brands, you have everything you could possibly want to order online, electronics, you name it, it's there. And let's be real, we tend to be a bit lazy at times. I mean, even I myself am guilty of sitting on an app and ordering my groceries.
I don't go to the supermarket anymore.
It's the same. So we're all guilty of that. And what a luxury it is to have to just go on your phone, get on an app, and order whatever you need for your house, whether it be a washing machine, a fridge, clothing, you name it. It's there. I mean, anything you can think of, it's there. Art, anything.
So are the warehouses currently existing to support the e-commerce infrastructure, or where are they building?
I think it's a mix of both. So Al Quoz was a big area for warehouses and a lot going on there, but now we're finding people to be moving out more to the IP, to these areas, Ras Al Khor. These areas are starting to pick up momentum. Al Quoz will always be strong. In fact, in Al Quoz it's also changing because you have a lot of central kitchens happening there as well. So the trend with F&B and retail as well is not necessarily restaurants. You have all the food apps like Zomato, Deliveroo, all these apps, Uber Eats, you name it. So I find that they're really focused on the central of Dubai. And then the bigger guys who deal in shipping and what have you, that take a few days to send out the products, are located on the outskirts. This is just from my expertise in the field and from what I've seen and from what I've experienced.
Interesting. So today, what would you say 2019, what has been the highest demand for commercial? Has it been retail, industrial?
I think it's a mix of everything, to be honest. There's a lot of investors in the market, people looking to invest in buildings. I get a lot of requests for buildings. Hospitals are there. Schools is always, people always want to invest in schools. Of course, warehousing in regards to leasing, without a doubt. But in regards to the sales, I would say it's more large-scale asset type of product.
So once Expo 2020 was announced, what were the trends that you saw that is directly related to 2020?
Well, I would say retail picked up quite a bit. Obviously, people just wanted to come in and get their brands recognized before 2020. Before 2020, in anticipation of 2020, people wanted to come in. I myself started to receive tons of concepts, and you know, retail is a little different. The way we work in retail, people usually submit a concept to me. We take a look at that brand and decide where it will go, what outlet would be suitable for it. And people just started submitting brands like crazy. There was one time where I was receiving up to maybe 10 brands a day. Which is a lot, because if you really think about it, maybe I'll get 10 a week. But right after that bid, we were receiving 10 a day. Now it's back to normal. It's back to normal a bit, where I'm just receiving a couple concepts a week, which is great, but still people are already here, or they've set up shop, or they're looking to expand. And of course, on the expo site itself, we're expecting a lot of retailers to be in there. Another thing that I found, obviously there was a demand for labor camps, because with all the building taking place, with all the expo construction, with all the everything coming in and the excitement of everything, laborers were pouring in. We needed more space to accommodate them. So for me personally, it was retail and it was labor camps. Warehouses, yes, they're always in demand. Warehouses have been in demand. E-commerce, triple that. But since expo, retail and labor camps for me were the two biggest.
And from my understanding, labor camps return some of the highest yields.
Yes, that's correct.
What's the average?
It can range anywhere between 14 to 18%, thereabouts. We have had cases of 20%.
Wow.
So yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the hospitality sector.
Sure.
As we know, there's a lot of rooms being built right now just to prepare for 2020. The holiday home sector has completely exploded to accommodate the 25 million plus visitors that are expected to be here. So what are you seeing in the hospitality sector?
Well, as you mentioned, rooms are just being built like there's no tomorrow. The turnover of rooms and hotels coming in, as well as you mentioned, the short-term renting has again exploded. You know, Emaar has recently released their own brand. That's on the wings of everything that's been happening. And aside from that, of course, comes the retail, again, F&B.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when I would struggle to get my licensed venues into a hotel because I had very few hotels with the amount of retailers. Now I can pretty much have my pick. I can go to 4 different hotels and submit my brand and say, this is my client. I'm bringing them in from the UK. We want to set up shop in Dubai. back in the day, I would have 4 brands fighting for that one space.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm happy with I'm happy with the hospitality and the hotels coming in. Now, of course, the short term is not affected by that, but it's still great to have all these big brands coming in, and the hospitality groups that are here are doing great. The big boys that are in town, they keep expanding, they keep growing, and they're doing really good things. So, yeah, and we're excited. There's a lot of new things up and coming, very exciting F&B brands coming in.
Yeah.
I can't give away too much, but I'm involved in a few of them.
That's very interesting.
Brokering a few of them, and we have some exciting brands opening.
Yes.
Q1 of 2020, we have some amazing brands.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about like laws, regulations when
Sure.
it comes to commercial. I know a lot has changed over the years.
And we're constantly changing.
Yeah.
We are constantly changing. So it's one thing, we need to keep up with the changes. I mean, in regards to the regulations and the zones and licenses, they evolve constantly. But the beautiful thing about Dubai is obviously we have the LLC license, which is the DED 5149, where you have a local partner. And there's only specific areas that we can house that. For example, Business Bay, which as your statistics show is one of the highest that has transacted in commercial. And there's a reason for that, obviously. It's a great area, there's tons of stuff happening, and of course DED is there. So there's a lot of people with that. And then of course we have all the different free zones.
Yes.
So we have from Dubai International Financial Center, which is the DIFC commonly known, all the finance guys are there. Then we have the MCC, which is the JLT specifically area. Then you have of course TCOM Group, which houses 11, 12 licenses, including D3, IMPZ. You have Media City, you have Dubai Internet City. There's a ton of licenses under that big group and those guys there. And it's just very exciting when you get into it and you start to understand and know the differences with licenses. And with my clients particularly, I love to be involved in their process and explaining to them what they need to do with the pre-approvals, with the setup, where they should go. Let's get you pre-qualified. And there's so much to do, but you do need someone who knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And who understands.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think most people understand that a typical commercial deal takes over a year.
It can do, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of my deals, 6 months, a year, sometimes plus minus. And you can see I'm very passionate about what I do. I love the market. I'm addicted to commercial real estate in a sense where it became such a big part of me, and I constantly want to grow and learn and understand it more and more. And I work with lots of the authorities. I've been very lucky to work with a ton of people in Dubai, and it's quite interesting being in this field. It's great.
So let me ask you a question, because with commercial real estate, it's really like you have to roll up your sleeves and get down and dirty.
Yes.
Especially like going through the warehouses, shell and core, no air conditioning in this heat. And you are probably one of the few women that I know in commercial real estate. I could probably count them on one hand. So how is it being a woman in commercial real estate?
It's the same as being a man, except I just pin my hair up and put on my steel toe boots.
You have to be a trooper and a hustler. That's for sure.
Absolutely. No, it's people don't realize what I do. I'm on construction sites. I do go to the labor camps. I put on full abaya. I don't go in on a regular. I'm in malls that are upcoming, community centers that are not yet built. It is, and in the summer months especially, it's no joke. Yesterday I had a few meetings, and I ended up having to do viewings in all shell and core spaces, and I had on 6-inch heels. I was dying, but the struggle is real, and that's what I've signed up for. So I have to just continue doing it.
You did it in a glamorous way.
Absolutely, but let me tell you, I was dying. But no, I mean, it's interesting. I find that maybe in the beginning, some people will look at, in the beginning of my career, I might have been looked at a little differently, but I think that I've earned the respect of a lot of people in the industry, and they know that when it comes to it, this is my work and my passion, and I love it. Yeah, and I'm not afraid to get dirty. I'm from the Caribbean. We don't play.
So where do you see commercial real estate going over the next 5 years here in Dubai?
Well, I think it'll obviously continue to expand. It'll continue to grow. I mean, projects are just not stopping.
Yeah.
There's constant movement. We're evolving constantly. I think the numbers have been predicted that we're injecting, I think, 150 odd billion into the economy post-Expo over the next, 10, 15 years. So with that money coming in, we have nothing to do but to grow, to expand. Plus, who's going to build for us? And aside from the commercial market, when you look at all the buildings and the developers that are here, constantly building not only the off-plan residential, we've got lots of more office space coming in. And Dubai is the HQ of the Middle East. This is where every headquarters is. This is, you know, the numbers are here. So things are just looking better for us, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely on both sectors, both commercial and residential.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We bounce off of each other.
Yes.
We're the yin and yang.
Yeah.
So like my team is all residential, I'm the commercial, and obviously my commercial team as well. But as a company, as a whole unit, we're the yin and yang. We just do everything.
That's good.
Yeah.
So speaking about offices, Angela, what is the trend that you're seeing now with offices? Are you seeing more grade A, shell and core, fully fitted?
The trend, I would say, and the demand is right now fitted.
Okay.
A lot, because VAT came in, the VAT 5% came on. So now we have to add that on to everything. So now when somebody comes into a shell and core space, they have to pay 5% on every single thing they do, and that includes the fit out. Wow. And of course the rent as well. Since that's been implemented. So I find that a lot of the corporates who are either moving or expanding, they all are coming to me about 90% rate of wanting fitted units. And that big time demand for fitted. So a lot of the landlords have started to offer Cat A options. They're fitting them out. Central Park, for example, DIFC, Index DIFC, they're offering them fitted. I have many units, you know, the Innovation Hub came up in TCOM. They're, you know, we're giving the option to the client so they can either rent shell and core status or they can rent fitted. When I first started in commercial real estate, in regards to offices, it was all shell and core. Everybody only ever wanted shell and core because of course they'd get a much better price and then they could do the fit out to their liking. They'd get their approvals and let's say within 3 months, 4 months, depending on the contractor they use, that fit out would get done to their exact liking. Over the years and with different things coming in, Dubai speeding up, everything happening here, fitted. We want fitted. So this is right now the demand. So it's been interesting to work in the market and see just the ups and the downs.
Different
and
trends
it
as
goes
well.
up, it stays, it comes down. The changes in what people want, the changes in what people need. It's been an interesting, I wouldn't say it's a roller coaster, it's just been an interesting ride.
So has the WeWork model, it's slowly coming in.
Slowly,
over, like,
slowly.
the
It's
last
trickling
year.
in.
Yeah, it is,
It's
exactly.
trickling.
in.
It's not here yet, in my
Okay.
opinion. It's not really here and heavy yet. I think we still need some time for that to develop. But what I have seen is a lot of people commercially who are in Dubai, in this emirate, moving, let's say, also to Abu Dhabi, Sharjah. UAQ is picking up quite a bit, Al Quwain. And then, you know, we have the Hyperloop coming in next year as well, which is that the transport between Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
Is it really coming in though?
From what I've read, we're still on board.
Okay.
I think from the last research that I had, the capsule was in Toulouse. I'm not sure if that's been updated or not, but I was reading about it. And the last update that I saw was in the beginning of this year. And it was definitely still in process.
Okay.
Have you heard otherwise?
I've heard many different stories.
Okay. Well, if that does come in, the connection between Dubai and Abu Dhabi would be excellent.
Of course.
So, and a lot of my retailers especially all want to open branches in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
So that's been picking up. And when the retailers open in Abu Dhabi, we also need offices in Abu Dhabi. So while Dubai is our hub and everything is happening here, I do find things are coming into the other Emirates as well, which is great for us, for the UAE as a whole.
Yes, absolutely. And do you see particular trends in other Emirates that's worth talking about?
Well, Sharjah, for example, lots of warehouses. That's big industrial.
Why is that?
Close to Dubai, 45 minutes, easy
Cheaper?
access. Absolutely, much cheaper without a doubt, yes. But within proximity, it's just there. So land prices are much cheaper. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. And what about like in Iraq or?
Ras Al Khaimah, oh yes, absolutely. Tons of factories and whatnot. It's more of an industrial area as well.
Okay.
UAQ is again picking up. We have some beachfront communities coming along, which are really great. We have malls there coming up, community centers coming up. I'm not sure if you've been down to Ajman and UAQ lately.
No.
But it's starting to pick up. I'm working on a few developments down there as well.
Interesting.
So yeah, exciting stuff. So I think only great things are left to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of growth happening, not only in Dubai, but just all over the UAE. And that is very
Absolutely.
clear.
Yeah.
It's very clear. Okay, Angela. So I'm going to ask you the Property Finder Talk signature question. If you have unlimited resources, what would you do within the commercial real estate sector here in the UAE?
Oh wow, that's a great question. Unlimited resources. Lynnette, there's so much that I could do if I had unlimited resources, aside from my own investments. Let's say I would start to invest heavily in commercial assets. I would actually love to build and expand, be involved with building of malls, purchase community centers, be involved with schools, building schools, being able to offer lower tuition rates to people coming in, hospitals, healthcare for expats, and be able to give that back to Dubai and to all of us living here. It sounds like the dream to have unlimited resources and to just give back to everybody, but it would be such a great thing to be able to give back to everybody who comes here and works hard and lives here, and just give something to them. Yeah. What you could realistically do is hospitals and schools and free healthcare and education and things like that. And then of course, I'd love to personally invest in assets, large assets.
That's a very good answer.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on Property Finder Talks.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for watching this episode of Property Finder Talks. Stay tuned for the next, where we explore the ins and outs of the real estate industry here in the UAE.